In this video, I'll show you how to create realistic nature environments using one add-on, 2 websites, and many techniques. Okay, first things first, we need to create our landscape. So I'm going to create a plane and I'll scale that by 50. Now, there are 3 ways to create this landscape and I'm going to show you all 3 of them. So the first one is probably the easiest, and we're going to use proportional editing. So I'm just going to subdivide this 100 times, and I'm going to go up here and turn on proportional editing. Now, if I grab a vertice and use my scroll wheel to increase the size of that circle, you can kind of see how this works. Now, unfortunately, there aren't many brushes, and if you're going for realism, this probably isn't the way to go. Now, the second way we're going to do this is I'm going to just press Command Z or Control Z to go back and unsubdivide the plane. I'm going to go to sculpt mode and I'm going to turn on dynamic topology, and you can turn this detail size down if you want. I'm not going to, because this isn't the final way I'm going to do this anyway, but this way there are different brushes for one that there are more ways to do it, but in the end this doesn't get us square faces, which isn't exactly ideal for later on. So that's also not the way I'm going to do this. In the end, I'm going to combine the 2 ways. So first, I am going to subdivide the plane. I'm going to go higher though, I'll just go 100 and then subdivide it a few times after that. That should be enough. Alright, I'll go to sculpt mode now. And I'm just going to kind of create a hilly shape. And this way we have the more versatile sculpting tools as well as square faces, which is just really nice. I'm going to use this clay strips tool and bring down the strength a bunch to add a little more detail in some spots. And if you find yourself having anywhere that is too rigid, you can press Shift and then click, and that will smooth the area. All right, now that we're done with that, let's get our nature assets in. And to do that, I'm gonna use Botanic, or however you pronounce that, which is very expensive, but there is a free version that I'm gonna use. I already have it downloaded though, so you can get this on your own, and this link will be in the description. I'll press N. We'll go to Edit, Preferences, search Botanic, and just click the checkbox once you have it installed. And now we can find this Poly GUI thing, whatever, and we're just gonna click Spawn Asset. First, I'm gonna go with Carnivorous and go Make Editable. Okay, perfect. This is way too high a resolution though, so I'm gonna go to Modifiers and get a Decimate and go 0.5. All right. I'm also gonna hide it from our viewport for now. Also, while the landscape is in the viewport, I'm gonna decimate that as well. Actually, we can probably do it more. Now, let's spawn another asset. I'm gonna make this one grass. I'm gonna go with that one. Make editable again. I'll just delete that. Get a decimate. About 0.75 is what we're gonna want, and then go ahead and apply that. All right, I'll just set up my camera real quick. We'll go with something like this. Camera, view, align active camera to view, and then local GZ about there, I think. Now I'm gonna select this, and I'm actually going to rename it landscape. Now I'm gonna duplicate it and call that one trees. I'm gonna hide landscape for now, and we're gonna go to geometry nodes. We can actually remove this decimate modifier for trees. I'm gonna click new. We're gonna get distribute points on faces. Now we're gonna get instance on points. And if you're familiar with the Botanic add-on, you'll know that there are ways to do this using the add-on, but I don't believe we'd get to make it less resolution, lower resolution that way. Now I'm gonna get a random value. By the way, we dragged our tree down into here and connected that to instance, the geometry to instance. I'm gonna attach that to scale. I'm gonna wanna go about probably 0.1, 0.2, way too big, 0.02, 0.05. That's looking quite a bit better. I'll bring the density up a bit, and now I'm gonna get another one by duplicating the random value, and I'm gonna change that to vector and connect that to rotation. I'm gonna make the minimum X and Y about -1 It's too much. Let's go minus 0.25 and 0.25. That's good, I think. Just enough rotation that it looks pretty good, I think. I'm gonna hide the trees now and show the landscape. We're gonna duplicate this again, and I'm gonna hide the original. We'll call this grass. You probably see where this is going. We're gonna do basically the same process, and I'll skip past the steps that are the same. Okay, now we don't really need the grass to be different sizes, really, but we do need it to be quite a bit smaller than the tree, probably about there. And now I'm gonna connect rotation from the distribute points on faces to rotation there, just bring up our density quite a bit, probably something like that. I'm gonna disable that in viewport though, because that will get very laggy. Okay, I'm gonna do that and hide grass. And now I'm gonna go to shading mode, go to rendered mode. I'm gonna get a sunlight. We'll go probably something like that. Doesn't really need to be that extreme. And we're gonna import an HDRI. So I'm gonna go to world, delete the background node, and get a environment texture. And now it's going to turn purple, and that's because we haven't put our environment texture in yet. So I'm going to go back here, and again, this link will be in the description, and there are just a bunch of free sky textures. You can pick whichever one you want. I already have one downloaded. I take it back, I don't have it downloaded. Okay, let's see. No, I kind of like this one. All right, download. I'm going to put where I want to download that. All right, now I'm going to click open, and we're going to find that, and we're going to go open image. Might take a moment to load in, and now we have this. I'm going to press Control T. Make sure you have the Node Wrangler add-on turned on, unlike me apparently, because I just installed new Blender. All right, Control T, and now you can change the rotation values. All right, I also changed the location values ever so slightly so it fills the sky a little bit more. Now I'm gonna return to object, and we need to shade our landscape. So I'm gonna press tab, make sure everything is selected, and I'm just gonna press U, Smart UV project. And now we need to get our texture. So I'm gonna use polygon. I'm gonna search ground, change credits to free, because we're only using free assets in this video. To find this one, you're gonna have to log in. I'm gonna use this one here. I'm gonna change resolution to high res, re-download, select your file, and we'll get that going. All right. And now I'm going to select our landscape, click new, select the principled BSDF, make sure you have Node Wrangler turned on. I'm gonna press Control Shift T. I'm gonna find the folder where I saved that. Don't be a doofus like me, remember to unzip it. Now we're gonna do those steps again. Control Shift T, downloads, tutorial things. All right, import those. We're also gonna go to our settings over here, settings, and turn on displacement. That's gonna be way too strong at first, so we'll just bring down our scale 0.01 maybe. Looks about good. And I'm gonna just bring up the scale right there. I think that's looking good. Now let's render this. And I'm using cycles, by the way. All right, so this looks okay right now, but there are a couple things we need to do to get this to look good. Number one, I think we need to increase the density of our assets. So I'm gonna go to geometry nodes, click grass, bring that up some more, and trees, also gonna bring that up. Also, something we can do is we can import more assets. So if we go to spawn asset, we also have stuff in plants. There's a phone calling in the background. There's shrubs. And the more of these we add, the better it's gonna look. But for the sake of time and lag in this video, I'm not gonna go over those. All right, one final thing before compositing. I think I'm gonna go into rendered mode and go to this light, make that a subtle yellow, and just bring that strength up quite a bit. Okay, now finally, I'm just gonna go into compositing, and we're gonna add in a few quick nodes. And I'll get some glare in there. I'm gonna go to fog glow, change that to high, and probably bring the threshold up quite a bit. All right, I brought my gamma down a little bit, and I'm gonna add some lens distortion, not very much, probably 0.0025. And now you can also play with effects like sunbeams. I'll put that like right there. And now I'll just bring that strength way down. Personally, I don't think it's right for this scene, but it's something you could try. I'm also gonna get an RGB curves. I think I'm gonna increase the blue a little bit and maybe the green. All right, and then by adding more assets, like I said, that you could get this to look a lot more realistic. Anyway, that's the end of it for this tutorial. If you want to learn more about geometry nodes, click this video right here.